All right, so those of you that ran Bolt 5K on Saturday, I want you to raise your hand if you were anywhere from mildly happy to absolutely ecstatic with the result. All right, keep your hand raised. All right, higher, come on. You either are mildly satisfied goes just as high as ecstatic. All right, only keep your hand raised. Only keep it raised if the following statement is true. From the beginning of the time we started this season, first week of January, until Bolt, you were never frustrated, never disappointed, and never doubtful. Never frustrated, never disappointed. Did everybody's hand go down?
Pretty much. Just keep saying things until they do.
So the reason I point that out is because there were a lot of hands up from people that had great days, right? But every one of you at some point along the line weren't all that happy with how your running was going. And the reason I want to point that out is because the next time you're struggling, remember that struggling doesn't necessarily mean you're not on target to do something remarkable, right? Struggling is just sort of a part of the process, because a lot of times we can really get weighed down by it. So I want you to keep that in mind the next time you're going through it. I was reading a really cool section of a book that I read repeatedly. It's called Elite Minds. And Elite Minds is a book about how the truly high performers think differently than the average person. And one of the sections is on how people think about winning. Now you can define winning however you want, right? It could be winning a competition, it could be setting a goal for yourself and achieving that goal. But he said there's two ways people think about it, and most people think about it, I want to make sure I get it in his words, they view winning as something that makes them feel better about themselves, right? That's why they want to win, because they feel better about themselves when they do. The problem with that is what happens when you don't, quote, win, right? You feel worse about yourself. So a small fraction of people want to win because their goal or their objective is to get the best out of themselves, right? They don't view it as proving themselves. They simply want to do their best. I saw a great example of that on Saturday, and a great example of how to use competition to get the best out of yourself. See, there's two ways to compete. One is to compete against somebody, right? To want to beat them, to want to finish before them. And again, if you fail in that, what have you done? Right? You're probably disappointed with yourself. The other way to compete is to compete with somebody. And when you're competing with somebody, you're doing it to get the best of yourself. So before Saturday, I became aware of this group of four. It was Paula, Eric, April, and Derek, right? Who basically, they all wanted to break 23, and they have decided to work together to do that, right? And I think they all broke 23 by between 32 and 45 seconds. It doesn't matter what order they finished in, right? They worked together, they competed with each other, and they all exceeded their goal, right? So that's how I want you, as we continue to finish through this season, to think about competing. Competing is not a bad word. It's not bad to be competitive. if what you're trying to do is use that competitive spirit to get the best out of yourself. Stephen Covey has a concept called the abundance mentality. A lot of people have a scarcity mentality, and what that is in order for me to win, you have to lose, right? There's only so much success to go around. See, now everybody can see what everybody else is looking at. So the abundance mentality means